Hi everyone, my name's Laura and I'm the Carpe Diem Stitcher. Welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're an existing subscriber. So I wanted to come in today and tell you all about what a fabulous day I had yesterday at the Festival of Quilts up at the NEC in Birmingham. I had a really fun time. So I bought some fabric. Well, of course I bought some fabric, but I also had the opportunity to meet up with some lovely people who I've never met before in real life, but feel like I know already from YouTube and Instagram. So I met up with Becky from At What Beck Sews, and Adele, who is Soulful Serenity, and Shannon, who is Sewing Warehouse, and they're all on YouTube. And then I also met Sally, who is the Staffordshire sewist over on Instagram, and her partner Kerry, who came along too. Although Kerry doesn't sew, but I did see her stroking some fabrics, and maybe she's going to start. You never know. Anyway, it was lovely to spend time with all those ladies yesterday, and I felt as if I'd known them all for years by the end of the day. In fact, it was probably about 4 or 5 hours, but I had a really good time. So I will pop in some footage from yesterday. I was a bit naughty, I didn't really take very much, but I will cut now to a little bit of footage of the day. And so, yes, that was my day. You probably saw Adele and Becky and Shannon in the background of my video. And we also, and I'll link you to Becky's video, which I've also seen already. And she's got some lovely pictures in of us all with Brogan, who was Crafty Pie on Sewing Bee, I think in 2022. And also we met Vicki, who I think is What Vicki Sews, but I'll put her link Instagram down below as well, who was on Sewing Bee last year. And it was really nice to chat with them, and they were really friendly and made plenty of time for us to talk to them and kind of find out a little bit about Sewing Bee and stuff. So that was a really fun part of the day, which I hadn't been expecting. But yeah, anyway, onto the purchases. So when I first arrived, I decided that I would buy the show guide, which is this, because in the back, it's over 3 halls, this is at the NEC, and it's got a really useful plan in it. So I went through and I asterisked all the ones, all the stalls that I thought I might want to go to. So I don't quilt. I did see, although I didn't shamefully take any footage of, some really lovely quilts. But I wanted to concentrate really on the dressmaking fabric and maybe some haberdashery items. So I didn't really spend that much time looking at the quilting, if I'm honest, although I'm sure that there was so much there that people who like quilting, I could really recommend that you go, because there was just loads and loads of stuff to see and do. So I did get myself the store guide, and that came with the competition catalogue. So you can read all about all the quilts that went in for the competitions. So that's also interesting, particularly if you're a quilter. So those came as a batch. And then I also bought, because I collect pin-on badges, I might have mentioned that before, I got this badge, which just says the Festival of Quilts on it. And I got a magnet for my husband, which I think he thought was quite amusing. So it just says 1/4 of an inch makes all the difference, and then it just says Festival of Quilts on it. So I got that as well when I came in, and very kindly we were given a bunch of, I don't know whether this was just if you bought something, I guess it was, we were given a bunch of fat quarters, all of which look to have got a kind of nautical theme. You can see I haven't undone them yet, but we've got life buoys, and we've got boats sailing around on the water, and what's that, waves, and starfish, and on the back a kind of sea view scene with some, I'll move that out of the way, little houses and things in the background. So that was really nice. It was a nice touch, and although I don't quilt, I'm sure I'll find a use for those fat quarters. They might be pockets, or maybe I'll try and make some little bags or something. So yeah, so that was really good and nice to get as a freebie when I got there. So then I went off and got a coffee and a blueberry muffin on the basis that A, it was my birthday weekend, more of that in a minute, and B, I knew I was going to walk around a lot. So I had my snack, worked out where I wanted to go, and then the lovely Becky from At What Beck Sews had very kindly said that I could meet up with her and Adele. And so I went off and found a cloakroom and dropped my coat, and then went into the hall that they were in. So I'd arrived in hall 9 and they were in hall 7. So I managed to find them and met up with everybody else that I'd mentioned already. And we all went round together for the day, and it was just so fun. And we all got on like we'd known each other for years. So what did I buy? Well, first of all, we headed off to Rainbow Fabrics because we'd all seen an Instagram live from Rainbow Fabrics where they had shown this fabric, and all of us thought it was beautiful, and it's this one. So it's a viscose, and I just think it's amazing, and it's just got this amazing pattern over it. So it's got stars and a head and a kind of big random, I don't know what it is, looks like a kind of mushroom thing there. And if I take you round, it's got a pineapple, and it's got an eye, and I just think it is amazing. And like Becky, I loved it so much that I got 4 meters of it. So this was going to be, they were charging for viscose, they were charging £10 a meter. If you were already on their mailing list, or if you signed up to their mailing list there, I'm already on it, you got 10% off. So I managed to get this for £9 a metre, so I paid you £36. So I just think that's fantastic. And I think that it might become a jumpsuit of some description, or it might become a dress. But I just think that is beautiful. And rather pleasingly, when I got home and showed it to my husband, he thought it was fantastic as well, because I thought he might say, gosh, that's a bit bright, isn't it? But he didn't, he loved it. So passed the husband test as well. Though I'd have still sewn it even if he didn't like it, but it's nice to know. And they even gave us a bag, so that's great. So that was Rainbow Fabrics, and I only got the one piece of fabric from there. And then we had a bit more of a wander, and then we got to a store called Montreux Fabrics, and they are on the internet, so I'll link them down below. And I picked up 2 jerseys. And so the funny thing is that, as you'll have seen by the previous fabric, I said Becky bought it, and so did I. And we tend to like the same fabrics. And I found this on the top, a bolt on the top, and I called over and I said, hey, Becky, look what I found on the top of the fabrics. And she said, yeah, that's because I've just pulled it out and looked at it. So she didn't actually buy this one, but I did, because I really like it. So it's got this lovely kind of tealy colour in, and sort of pinks and purples and orange. And it's just this kind of completely random pattern. So I just thought it was really pretty, and I have bought 2 meters of that, so that will become some kind of a top. But it's quite nice and drapey. I think it's probably viscose. But yeah, it's just lovely and really random, really bright, and just the way I like my jersey. So that was the first one I got from Montreux Fabrics. If I can find these fabrics online, I'll link them. Otherwise, I'll just link to the homepage. And this was the second one. So I've been on the lookout for something that's kind of purpley on white for a while. I saw a ready-to-wear t-shirt that I liked, which was a bit more floral than this. This is slightly more random and splodgy, but it does sort of look in places like abstract flowers. So same substrate, I think it's a viscose jersey again, but again I got 2 meters of that, so that will become kind of longish top or a tunic or something like that. So that was my second jersey purchase. And then I think we went off and got lunch fairly soon after that. And so that was lovely, and we all just managed to sit together as well, which was great. And then after lunch, we wandered around and we looked at some of the smaller stalls that were there. And we went to, I'll have to check the name of it, I'll put it below. I think it's Emporia. And we were allowed to pick, the lady there let us pick a badge for free. So I got Stitch Bitch, which I think Adele and Becky also got. So that was nice that I got given that. So that was a lovely touch. And I got some more labels. So I really like Little Rosy Cheeks labels. So I picked up some of these. So I got, these say "You Do You." You can't quite see it, but that's what it says. You do you. I got Perfectly Me, because I think, you know, quite a few of the things I wear and the fabrics I choose aren't necessarily everybody's cup of tea, but I just think, well, it's fine if it suits me and I like it, that's good enough. And in fact, I remember in my sewing goals for this year, I said, I need to sew for the person I am, not the person I think I ought to be. So this is exactly what I mean by that. And then finally I got these, which are partly maybe a self-esteem thing, but also I really want to make something for my mum and put one of these in here. I just think they're so pretty. And I know she'd love the florals. And they just say, you are important, you are enough, you matter. And I just think that that's just lovely. It's really lovely sentiment. So I got those. And then staying with smaller items, just across the way was Ethel and Joan, which is run by the lovely Victoria Louise, who was 1/3 of the Pattern Pals on YouTube. I don't think they film anymore, but she used to work in the NHS, and then she set up her own resin button and jewellery making business. So I'll link to that down below. And I had a look at some of her earrings and I succumbed. So they come in this lovely little box, and I picked these ear chain ones, and they're just kind of fairly simple triangles with they've kind of got silver in them, black and silver set in them on a clear background. Hopefully that shows up. And they're on these long ear chains, which you can, I think Becky shows it on her video. She got some with a different design on, but you can adjust the length of the drop by where you put the plastic fastener at the back. So you can have them quite long or a bit shorter. So I've got visions, if I've got them on quite long, then the cats will be kind of going like that if they get too near them. But yeah, I just thought they were beautiful. And lovely Victoria also popped in some sweets, which are, can you see? I'm not sure, Parma violets. So that's lovely. So she popped that in with the order for me. So that was the kind of when we were wandering around some of the smaller stalls. And then we went off to Lady McElroy. In fact, we went to Lady McElroy twice, and the first time I didn't buy anything. But I was thinking I would go back and get something. So Adele, who is Sofa Serenity, wanted a particular pattern on a particular substrate, and they couldn't find it. But one of the guys on the stall said they thought they might have it. So we agreed we would go back later and see if they'd got it. and if they had, she could collect it, otherwise they would send it to her. When we went back, they didn't have it, but I decided by then I was definitely going to buy some. And they had like remnants rail, and everything on the remnants rail was £12 a metre. So I picked this up, and it's a viscose, and it's called Elephant Habitat, and it's midnight, which I think they must have it in more than one colourway. Again, I'll link it down below if I can find it. And I got 1.4 metres of this, and I just really liked it. So I should hopefully get a shirt or a blouse out of this. And it's just got, hopefully you can see, it's got these elephants all over it on this fairly dark background, and little kind of tiny little bits of gold that really pop on the dark background, and the silvery elephants. It's a bit creased because it was kind of squashed up on the rail on a hanger, and then it's been sitting in my bag. So apologies that it's a little bit creased. So I got that one. And then I'd seen a jersey fabric earlier on when we'd been looking around, which was kind of pale blue with some leopards on, I think almost like snow leopards. So you had to look quite hard to find them. And I was going to get some of that. And I went up and I mentioned it to one of the guys on the stall, and we couldn't see it. And then he said, oh, if you're interested, I'm about to put this jersey on the remnants rail. And it's this. And this I have found on the website, called Artistic Vibrance, and it's a crepe jersey. So when you look at it, it does look it's almost got like a knitted texture. I mean, I know it has anyway got a knitted texture, but it feels a bit more kind of sweater-like than maybe some of them. Super stretchy. And you probably know from previous vlogs, if you're a regular viewer, that I love a splodge and random shapes and things. You've seen it by my other fabric choices today. And I really like this. And he didn't know how much was there, but he measured it, and I've got 1.9 metres of it. So I think, hopefully, I might get a Tammy handmade Mila top out of it. I'll put a picture up, but it's the one with the bat wing on. But I think that would be, if I can get it out of this, I think that would be a really good use of the fabric, and I think I'd get lots of wear out of that coming into the autumn. But I just think it's so pretty. So that was it for my fabric purchases. So yeah, I think I did well. I mean, I you know, it obviously isn't a cheap day, and I went on the train because it was pouring with rain and it was really windy. And so although it was maybe a bit more expensive, I got the train, and I was really glad I had, actually, because I just chilled out and read a book and drank coffee, and yeah, that was good. I was really glad on the way back that I didn't have to drive. So that was the Festival of Quilts. So I just want to say thank you again to all the lovely ladies who I spent the day with. So Becky, Adele, Shannon and Sally and Kerry. It was so lovely to meet you all, and also Brogan and Vicki, who, as I say, we met earlier. So lovely to meet you all. Hopefully it won't be the last time I see you all again, and we can, maybe I'll find you at a sewing social or something. So when I got home, I mentioned it was my birthday weekend. So my birthday was actually on the Friday. And at the point I went to the Festival of Quilts, I knew that my husband had got me a sewing gift, and he got me other things as well, and I'd already had those, but the sewing gift hadn't arrived. So I was in this weird position where I didn't want him to tell me what he'd bought, but I was kind of going, it's not a sewing machine foot, is it? No. And I was kind of trying not to guess too much. And I had an inkling of what it might be, because I'd mentioned this item to him sort of earlier in the week, and he was sort of saying, oh, that sounds like quite a useful thing to have. So I did have an inkling, and there's no way I would have carried this back on the train from Birmingham anyway. But when I got home yesterday, he presented me with this. And it is an extra wide table for my sewing machine, which is a Janome Atelier 7. So yeah, so it's just an extension table, which means it comes out a bit wider. I think quite a lot of quilters find this useful, but I think it'll be great when I'm sewing with kind of like if you're making a big dress. So I've made the two for the wedding, you know, like the practice and then the actual dress. Or you're making, like when I made my cape, that was kind of really big, heavy fabric. So I think it'd be really useful to have that. So I won't take it out of the box because it just looks like a Perspex flat table with a tape measure almost on the front of it. But I will try and put it together and pop a picture in the video before I put this up. So yeah, so that was my sewing birthday weekend, which was absolutely fabulous. So I have bought a few other bits and pieces, but I won't share those with you now. What I'll do is I'll do a Friday Sews soon and talk a little bit about what I've been up to and what I'm going to do in the near future. And I'll show you my other purchases then. And I also need to do some videos around what I wore to my friend's son's wedding up in Yorkshire, which was last weekend. But I've been waiting to get some pictures and the weather's been horrible. And even this afternoon when I thought we might have a chance, it chucked it down with rain again. So I will do those. I haven't forgotten. But yeah, so that's what's coming up. But my next video, which actually I've already filmed, so you're seeing these out of order. So if you're thinking when you see the next video, is she wearing the same outfit? Yes, she's wearing the same outfit because it was filmed today. Is a collaboration with the lovely Becky, who, as I said, I spent some of yesterday with from At What Beck Sews. And because she and I have very similar fabric choice and taste, we thought it would be really fun to do a one fabric, two ways collaboration video. So we're releasing our introductory vlogs on this coming Wednesday. So please come back for that. If you subscribe then and then hit the little notification bell, it'll let you know when that video comes up. And if you've enjoyed this content and you'd like to see more from me, then please do like this video. And I just wanted to end by saying thank you to Sam from Sequin Girlie Creates, who mentioned me in her last video as a smaller channel that she wanted to promote. She's trying to promote smaller channels so they get more exposure on the YouTube algorithm, and she was kind enough to mention mine. So Sam, thank you so much for that. And also huge thank you to Becky, who has also mentioned, I know in her video, that she's going to do the collaboration with me. And thank you to all those people who subscribe, because they've come over here from one of those two lovely ladies, or also if you've joined from any other way. It's lovely to have you along on my sewing journey. So I will see you all on Wednesday with a reveal of the fabric that Becky and I are using. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.